What's up, everybody? The Gamecocks are on fire. Let's talk about it. How would you grade South Carolina, Shane Beamer, since the end of the season? Now, everybody knows Rooster was on Beamer's ass. All you gotta do is go back and look at my videos. I said Shane Beamer was the problem. He would not change his mindset on how the team should go. And the season was bad. Anger, a lot of fire. That's right. I still have fire. I have fire every day. I'm feeling better and better every day. Season's over with. Can relax a little bit. No stress. But how would we grade the offseason so far for Shane Beamer, South Carolina Gamecocks? The portal class. How's that going? How would you grade the portal class right now? Seeing the kids on the field, seeing how everything comes together, just the talent and the guys that have been brought in. The high school class. Julian Walker, all-star game last week, talk of the town. Pretty much a man amongst even the elite boys of high school that were around in that game. Graded out the highest from what I understand of all the high school kids. I know everyone's talking about needing a defensive end, and maybe we don't trust that Julian Walker's that guy because he's coming in as a freshman. But does anyone remember Dylan Stewart as a freshman? Well, you say that's a unique deal. Dylan Stewart was Dylan Stewart. Defensive end, to me, is definitely a position you can have a major impact as a freshman. I truly think if you think about the positions, what positions do freshmen really impact the most, you think, when you look around college football in general? Running back, you can see freshmen have a major impact. Every once in a while, there's a quarterback. Every once in a while, if the system fits him right, and he learns the system and has the maturity to do it, you see a freshman quarterback, just like Lenorse did. But Lenorse was kind of a redshirt freshman when he took over. But he didn't have a lot of playing experience, that's for sure. But he was in a year to learn. But a true freshman, if you had to think positions that true freshmen have major impacts, of course you see a wide receiver a lot of times. True freshmen can have a major impact as a wide receiver, running back, and defensive end to me. Maybe defensive tackle. You don't hear a lot about true freshman defensive tackles making major impacts. I mean, linebackers, that's a tough one too because of all the false steps and getting adjusted to the speed of the game. Especially nowadays, all these teams are talented, dude. The thing, everybody's on this thing about the SEC is kind of falling behind. Well, that's just NIL. That's what the transfer portal and NIL has done, where these teams adjust. Every year, you're rebuilding. Just look, South Carolina lost, 17, 18 guys now? I haven't kept up. It's 17 at one time. Then we just lost Jatiah Shivers. And so I don't know if that's it. He was number 18 or 19. I'm going to be honest with you, if they're going out, I don't really keep up with it. Now, I do like to watch what's coming in. Coming out of a dead period today, will there be some more excitement? I can't remember the kids now, but there's talk of a kid from Texas, running back. I think he was a freshman last year, or maybe a redshirt freshman. Didn't play a whole lot. I think he did a little over 200 and something yards on the season. Texas is kind of stacked with some running backs out there. You know what I mean? Baxter, who's now at Kentucky. What's his name? Wiseman. Wiserman. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I'm not going to say that. But Texas had some running backs on that roster. And this kid was kind of down on the depth chart. which the other guys were older too, so you tend to run with your older running backs. But some other kids that are coming in to visit, I think a tight end I've heard it's supposed to be coming in. Jordan Seaton, offensive lineman from Colorado. People want this kid to make $3-4 million. Look, maybe somebody's going to pay him that. There's teams out there with ridiculous money right now that's going to pay that. But I've seen Colorado play. I don't know. I don't know how I would grade that kid right now. Just some of these numbers that are thrown out for some of these kids are fucking ridiculous. Sorry for the F-bomb. But it is, man. You sit here and think you bust your ass every day and work your ass off, and they're throwing this crazy money at these kids. What's their motivation? What's their motivation? When you pack that bank account, man, what's the motivation of an 18, 19, 20-year-old to get out and really work his ass off anymore? I don't know. Everybody talks about Indiana. Maybe that's why they're so good, because all these kids are not getting paid that kind of money. All these kids were not 5-star recruits, and people are throwing ridiculous money. Maybe they still feel they need to prove some shit. Got to give them credit for that. Now, who's going to win the national championship? Indiana or Miami? I'm not making a prediction. I mean, Indiana's been pretty impressive. A lot of people wanted to argue with me about the TCU thing. I'm like, look, I didn't tell anybody that TCU would beat this Indiana team, TCU's team that went to the national championship. What I'm telling you is they did it in year one of Sonny Dykes with what? What did TCU have in common with Indiana? Older players, super seniors. Yes, sir. That's all I'm trying to tell you. It's been done. Now, 2 years in a row, TCU didn't do it. They did it that one year, and then they kind of fell off since then. Indiana's kind of done it 2 years in a row, and hey, give them credit for it. Kurt Cignetti, it's just some of the shit that gets thrown out now. Is Kurt Cignetti better than Kirby Smart? Not till he wins more national championships, he ain't. And Kirby Smart was kind of in that. If you think about Georgia's national championship, man, they were right in that weird transition when COVID happened. NIL was kind of coming up. The transfer portal thing got a little. It was a wacky time, but I'm telling you right now, somebody tried to tell me that this Indiana team, or I seen somewhere this Indiana team would have beat those Georgia national championship teams. Hell nah. That Georgia national championship team that beat TCU to death. I mean, seriously, do we not remember? Maybe everybody's got short-term memory, but do we not remember that defense that Georgia had? They're all in the NFL, dude. I mean, behind that, if you think of defenses that were putting in talent in the NFL, like that team had, especially on the defensive front, you think back to maybe Clemson. Had a defensive front like that. Of course, Alabama had a few of them. 2019 LSU. But everybody thinks this Indiana team would beat all those teams. Man, it's a different time. But I'm not about to tell you that this Indiana team would beat 2019 LSU, because I don't know if anybody would. And it was a different time. You didn't have the transfer portal. You couldn't build like that. You kind of had to develop your players, your high school kids, right? Think about it. They had the one-time transfer rule, or they had to be a grad transfer or JUCO. You just couldn't go out and pluck kids like you're plucking kids now and throwing this major money at him. It's just, I tell people that, and no one seems to want to think about that. They just throw that out right now. You can't go out and look at film of a kid that has played in college for a year or two and want to grab him through the transfer portal. Back then, you couldn't do it. So you had to develop. And everybody's like, well, everybody cheated and they were all paying players behind the scenes. Not $3 million. I don't think there were too many football players back then making $3 million a year. Maybe 100,000, maybe 80,000, some stuff like that. But hard for me to believe that you were getting $3 million handshakes back in that day. I just can't see it. But anyway, back to the subject. at hand was about South Carolina and Shane Beamer, and how would we grade the team and what he's done so far. Coaching hires. What grade would you give him hiring coaches? I'm not going to give an A right now because I haven't seen the team on the field. But in comparison to the coaches he got rid of versus the coaches that are on the staff now, I think this coaching staff is heads above what Shane Beamer's had in his time in South Carolina. I do. That's my opinion. I'm guessing probably everyone's kind of maybe sort of had that opinion. They love this coaching staff as comparable. Now, what's the results gonna be once they hit the field? I don't know. So right now, let's go with a B. I'm gonna give Shane Beamer a B. By the end of the season, that might turn out his coaching decision may be an A+, we hope, right? High school, you can't really grade out the high school kids. I think I'm gonna give him an A for retaining and not really losing that class after all the changes that were made with the coaching staff. I mean, realistically, if I think back through, there was a couple guys that maybe committed and then flipped, running back from Florida, did flip back to Florida State, kind of the kid's from right there, right? Tallahassee, not far from Tallahassee's home. I don't know. I don't know what Florida State gave him money wise. I can't tell you. But if we were to look at the high school kids, we'll give them that. How about retaining of your roster, your existing roster? How would you grade what they were able to do as far as the kids they kept versus the kids that left? The whole offensive line basically is gone. I think it was Ryan Brubaker just hit the portal. So maybe it is about 19, 20 kids or whatever that's left. But the guy never really seemed to feel a lot anyway. So right now with what we've got, we know there's going to be more added through the transfer portal. Where would you kind of put this class? I think they're somewhere ranked in the teens, around 15, 16, 17 so far in the transfer portal class. Now, some of the classes that are bigger, of course, rank higher because right now they have more kids coming in through the transfer portal, which just like with recruiting, the more kids you have come in, the higher they rank you up. So how would we grade so far? I like what they've done. I'm gonna give that maybe a B- right now until I see how these kids perform on the field, how they come together as a team. Now, a lot of experience, I think, coming in that's going to help. A lot of talent going to help. So let's rock with a B- right now. I hope that's an A+ by the end of the season. I hope it's an A before the season starts, that we get some more elite talent on the football team through the portal before it's all said and done. Not gonna lie, I do refresh my X quite a bit when I'm able to see if anyone else committed to South Carolina. That's right. Love it when a plan comes together. So far, overall grade, if we were to think about where South Carolina's at, what would you give them versus last year? C+, B-, B. We're not going in the A category. There's no proof out there yet until this team hits the field that we can grade them as, Beamer's done a fantastic job. I think a change of mindset. I will give him an A for just knowing that the plan wasn't going to work. You know, everybody loved the little whiteboard breakdown that I did the other day. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, that is how I look as a coach, as a builder, as a human being, as a business person. That's how I kind of look at things, man. You got to look at it. You can't be so attached to it. And I know South Carolina fans, y'all love to attach. And this is why I don't watch the NFL. Because you can't even buy a jersey of a football player anymore. Because hell, they're there and then they're gone. And it's like you wasted your damn money. I have some South Carolina jerseys. And they are Jadeveon Clowney jerseys. And I know that. Not because his name is on the back, but because of the jersey itself and the years those jerseys were made. They were Clowney jerseys, right? You know that. They retired his jersey, not his number. So those jerseys are now retired. Well, one of them was the Wounded Warrior Project jersey, which Under Armour is now going away and South Carolina's going to Nike, which they do have the military appreciation thing. Also, Nike does, because I know Clemson does it with their purple. So there is still military appreciation, and that's great. But overall, great for South Carolina so far in the off season, and we'll see what additions they can add. I'm gonna rock with a C+ until this team gets on the field. And I know you're gonna say, well, individually you graded them all higher than that. Individually, yes, but as an overall whole, I think the score comes down a little bit, just because I still think there's some in-game decision-making issues that need to improve. Last year versus last year, even Beamer as a coach has to get better. I think with some in-game decision-making, I think he lets his passion get in the way sometimes, and he gets too fired up and goes for things when you shouldn't. Sometimes you just need to take a deep breath and think about what you're doing before you do it. And I just think there's little things like that. I mean, tightening up on our defense, just going to like this prevent style late in games, we got cooked on stuff. I hate it. I'm an aggressive dude. If you're going to cook me, you're going to cook me being aggressive. I like putting pressure on the quarterback, make that guy run, move, beat you that way. Sitting back and just letting these quarterbacks pick you apart in this whole prevent bullshit. Man, that's just like sitting back and watching the world go around and not getting out and being aggressive and attacking what you want every day. You can't really. I mean, there's a lot of people that do that. I'm not one. I'm trying to. There's times I've done that, because there's times
Red light, camera ahead.
Yeah. Red light, camera ahead. Thanks for the warning. I don't want to get no ticket running a red light, but you ain't got to worry about that, because nobody in front of me decides to go fast enough that I can go anywhere, because everybody wants to be in Florida right now. I ain't going to say it. Yes, the snowbird season is here. But anyway, I got to get out of here, guys. Headed off to work. Go see what I can accomplish today. And have a good day. Oh, y'all. Peace.